This morning, in the French newspaper Le Journal de Montréal, front page, it states 150 family drama in 10 years. What a sad case. What a sad story. But what's even more sad is this. And I will translate the quotation of the minister. She says, under these very alarming statistics, the Minister of Health created an expert committee to study the problem. What makes me sad is, in 1988, we organized an international conference. The theme was Divorce and Children, How to Intervene. It was a conference centered on the means of action to take before, during, and after. Following the conference, recommendations were made. Recommendations were made and they were voted in unanimously by the caucus of the Liberal Party of the Island of Montreal, Eastern Montreal, unanimously by the caucus of the Liberal Party of Western Montreal, and became part of the resolution of the Liberal conference that was held in Laval. It was voted in unanimously. And I'd like to quote the recommendation that were voted in at the time. By the way, these recommendations are to be found in the book, Please Don't Let Me Go, Papa. That book talks about a story of a beautiful boy that saw his parents fighting for 16 years in court. That child had 7 name change, was adopted twice by the new spouse in a different province, although both adoptions were set aside. Where was the best interest of the child? 16 years. Here are the recommendations that were made and endorsed at the time by the Chief Justice of the Superior Court of Quebec, Alain Bigot, the ex-Minister of Justice of Quebec, Herbert Marks, which was a judge of the Superior Court, the past president of the Federation of Social Workers of Canada, which was also the vice president internationally, by the director of the Social Work School at McGill University, Dr. Rowe. It was endorsed by so many people. And here are the recommendations of what should have been put in place in order to prevent these dilemmas. Not dilemmas just of people killing their kids, dilemmas of people that are taking their children and disappearing, dilemmas of people that are totally abandoning the situation. Because this is not a question of father this or mother this. This is a question of sentiment. Very, very delicate sentiment. Especially when we are playing with the children of these parents. Not to mention the intergeneration. So the OPCR recommendation, the Organization for the Protection of Children's Rights recommendation, were create courses at the elementary and secondary level in order to educate and sensitize students about parental responsibilities. The goal is to ensure that the next generation may adequately understand and assume its role as parents. Number 2, create a system of family reconciliation which is available at all times for couples and family in crisis. Number 3, create a system of family reconciliation which is Number 3, put into place family mediation services that are free, mandatory, and non-judicial for all couples experiencing marital difficulties or going through divorce proceeding. Same for people separating themselves although they were not married. Such service should also be available for grandparents and other family members in crisis. Number 4, eliminate terms that create friction between the parties. For instance, replace the expression legal custody by parental responsibilities and support orders by financial responsibilities of parents. Number 5, create a court specializing in family matters where judges have an extensive background in family law as well as in psychosocial matters. And finally, number 6, create an office of formal complaints where one spouse can file an official complaint in the event that the other spouse does not respect his or her financial or other responsibilities. The official taking the complaint would first discuss the problem with the complainant and then would speak with the other spouse in order to sensitize the latter to the importance of maintaining his or her obligation responsibilities. In the event that the other spouse failed to respect his or her obligation and responsibility, then draconian measure could be taken. We're talking 23 years down the road. None of that is in place. Although it was voted in unanimously, became part of the Red Book of the Liberal Party of Quebec, was also brought back by Louise Arel on and the Minister of Justice, where we presented the brief while the PQ was in power. Unfortunately, because of certain pressure group, it's never been put in place. Although most people agree that it should be there. If we really want to make a difference, if we really want to save lives, the lives of our youth or spouses, or avoid problems where people are taking their children and disappearing, or they're totally abandoned, let us support them. Let us give them everything it takes in order to prevent these dilemmas. If you want to know more about it, I would invite you to go and see the 25th anniversary of the OPCRES, of the Organization for the Protection of Children's Rights, which can be found on the site Together for Families. It will give you the 25 years in Canada, not just Quebec, of what went on and why it's still not on.